can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, you're nodding your head, so I think you understand me. So, when people say that you're going to lecture, sometimes I'm afraid, because that means that I do all the talking, and you do all the listening. Correct? I don't work very well doing that. I work well if you do most of the talking, and I get to sit and watch you, because I'm a lazy teacher when it comes down to it. But hearing you speak and hearing some of your questions is a good thing for me. Am I talking too fast? You can understand me?
Yes.
So we're going to play a little game, okay? Which means that you have to talk. I do not do well in a quiet classroom. If you don't do anything, I don't do anything, okay? So this is me. My name is Dave. At birth, I was called David, but only my mother and my wife call me David, okay? I think the Arabic is Daoud, yeah? So, but nobody calls me that. Anyway, my wife calls me David when she's angry. And my mother as well. So, my name is Dave. My family name is Lindsy. My father is from Scotland, and my mother is from Yugoslavia. Okay? So, my mother's name was Tomljanovic. So I taught and lived in Yugoslavia for a few years as well. So these are pieces of information about my life, okay? But you don't know what this information really is. You have to ask a question where one of these things is the answer, okay? So, for example, I'll help you. If you said, how many months are there in a year? I'd say 12. Not the answer. How many days have you been in Iraq? That's not the answer. If you ask the question, how old are you? Unfortunately, this is the answer. Okay? So, I'm 53 years old. So what I'd like you to do is turn to a partner and try to figure out what the question is where this is the answer. Okay? And I'm going to give you 2 minutes. Okay? So go for it.
Can we cut this?
Yes, sure. That's 2 minutes. That's 2 minutes in my time, okay? You ever notice that when teachers say you have 2 minutes, it doesn't mean 2 minutes. It means whatever they think 2 minutes is. So you had your hand up.
Yeah.
You have a question?
No, I have the answer.
No,
I have
you-
the question and the answer.
Okay, what is the question?
The question is, what's your favorite color? The answer is green. And green, sorry. And
You only
the
get
second-
one. Only get one.
Okay.
You only get one. So, is my favorite color green?
I think so.
I don't think so. There is no green on that.
Sorry, your question is wrong. Yes. You.
How many kids do you have? I think the answer is 3.
I think you're wrong. I have one child.
Correct.
One child only. Something, yes.
What's your favorite season? I think it's winter.
I think you're right.
Very
okay.
good.
Yeah.
Well done. Now there'll be a test at the end. Okay, so remember these. In fact, we'll erase them. Yes.
Where did you study? In Canada.
Where did I study? I studied in America and Canada, but I'm not saying that.
Yeah.
Okay? Somebody else? Yes.
How much years in employ?
How much? How many years?
28
20
in employ.
in my employment?
Yeah.
I'm not going to answer that question. I want it more specific. I need a more specific question. I'll give you one more try. Try again? Close. Very close. Somebody else. And I'll just point at you as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
What's your wife's job? She's a nurse?
Yes, she
Very
is.
good.
Good job. Why is it only the ladies can do this game?
Because they're ladies.
Okay, from you.
What's my favorite moment in 1995?
My favorite what?
Moments.
No, well, yes, it was a favorite moment, but that's not the question. But it's close. Be thinking about. He asked the question, "What's your favorite moment?" Okay, I'm going to try to get some other people. So you right here. He's very invasive. Yes.
خليتني أقول لك.
When did I get married? In 1995. There you go. So, how many years have I been married then?
Now, 23.
23. Some of you are not math teachers. 23 years, yes. But we met in university 10 years before. And we fell in love. We didn't get together like that, no. But we talked, and we talked about getting married, but I was so young. I got scared. I got cold feet and I ran. But 10 years later we got married. Okay. Another question. Somebody, I'll just point at you. You're right there. Lady behind you.
أنا.
Where do I live? Yes. Yes, I do. Close enough. I do live in Canada. Good. Lady in second row, second over. Yes.
How old your kid?
How old's my son?
What's your son's name?
Oh. My son is 13. My son's name is Will, or William. Okay? Good. Yes.
How old was you when you met your wife?
How old was I when I met my wife? 19. 19. That's why I didn't get married. I was immature. Still am. Okay. Okay. Let's help you out here. What's this?
Daughter's name?
Huh? I don't have a daughter. I only have a son named William. Will. Yeah? My wife's name is Cheryl. Good.
Good.
3.
The member of your family?
Number of my family? No. My family, it's big. Yes?
You have been in Iraq for 3 years?
No, I haven't. I wish I had. Okay.
Days.
Anybody else?
You've been here for 3 days?
No, I haven't. This is a mystery, I guess. How about 28? What if I said 28 years?
The day of your birthday.
Day of my birthday is on the 9th of February. Yes. Okay. 28 years. What do you think that is? Yes.
How long have you been teaching?
28 years. Yes. Tanner. This is a tough one. This one is, what is your dog's name? Green. Anybody understand? Huh? Color of what? Color. What do you think?
Your car's name?
My car's name? My car has no name.
Sorry, your car's color?
No, my car is gray, and it's a truck. Yes.
Your wife eyes?
My wife's eyes are not green. I should say I do not know. Green is my favorite eye color. Doctor, medical doctor, that's what my father is a medical doctor. And 3, okay, 3 is not... Thank God, no. So, 3 is the number of times I almost got married, but was too afraid. So, this is who I am, okay? And here's what I want you to do. Does everybody have a piece of paper?
Yeah.
Okay? I want you to take out a piece of paper, please. Rip it out. Okay? We're going to do an activity together, and I'm going to play as well. And here are the rules. Don't start writing until you know the rules. Do I need this? Should I take it like this? This one? Better? I feel like I should do karaoke, but I don't sing. So the rules are this. You're going to write down 3 questions. 3 questions that you could ask anybody in the room. Okay? But there's some rules. Okay? There can be no yes, no questions. Okay? So you can't say, do you like sports? That's a yes, no question, right? It has to be an answer where there's content. Okay? What are some of your favorite things to do in the summer? Right? So you need content. Okay? It can't be too personal. Like, who do you love? Like, no, that's really not your business. Unless it is, then that's fine, but it's not your business, right? And it cannot be too sublime, which means it can't be ridiculous, or you have to be able to answer the question, okay? You need to write neatly and do not put your name on the paper, okay? Do you understand?
Yes.
And I'm going to give you 3 minutes to do that. 3 ones. Real ones. Has everybody finished? Yeah. When a teacher says, have you already finished? They don't care about the answer. The answer is yes. Okay? So, when I say go, here's what you're going to do. And you have to move around. You're going to stand up, find a partner. You're going to ask your questions back and forth. And then I will yell, switch. Okay? What do I mean by switch? You will switch your pieces of paper and switch your partners. Change, right? So you'll give your piece of paper to someone else, and they'll take it and ask somebody else. Make sense? No? Yes. It's like, yes, it does. Okay, are you ready?
Yes.
So stand up, and I'm playing as well, okay? Stand up, please. And let's go. Okay, let's start with you. Find a partner, start asking questions.
Can you teach observe that students in the future and how to make them get better?
Wow, that's a long question. Depends on what you mean by bad.
Yes, fine about it.
by their knowledge, by their work.
I believe any student, if they're motivated. So most problems with teaching is not motivation. So if you can motivate them, they can.
A lot of guys from my experience in the secondary school.
My question, what are some of your favorite subjects?
Subject? Drama.
Drama?
Precisely theater. Love theater.
I do? Okay, your next question.
You focus on your target, you know?
Do I focus on what?
Your target. Troubles.
Hard work. Very hard work. What kind of music do you do?
Music?
Yeah.
I like music. I like writing music. I can worship music.
Okay, switch. Switch papers
Which paper?
and switch partners. Do you understand?
Okay.
Change both. Okay, find somebody else. Okay, switch. You understand? You can change papers, change partners. Some of you back there, I don't know what you're doing, but make sure you change papers and change
I try to answer
What's your favorite movie?
I have many, but The Green Mile.
Green Mile.
By Tom Hanks.
Very serious. Yeah.
Shall I ask?
Sure.
Yeah. I will ask you.
Ask me.
You?
Yeah.
Question. How was your first day at university?
How was it? It was horrible. Absolutely horrible.
Like what?
Horrible because it was. I only had a few friends because I went to a university that was in America and I was born in Canada.
So you didn't have any friends?
I had no friends.
And you were alone?
Different culture because Americans and Canadians are different. And it was in Texas, so everybody was different and everybody spoke with a very strong accent.
I thought that Canada and America was like, they are borders.
They border, yes, but in
same.
Texas they speak like this. You can't really understand what they're
Just
saying.
language.
Yeah. So I was very nervous.
The first day.
First day, yeah. And I didn't know where to go.
And then.
And it was 45 degrees Celsius.
Oh, yeah. The weather was very hot.
Yeah. And at home it was 10.
Canada is cold.
Yeah. So,
Iraq is
okay. For both of you, give advice to be a good teacher in one word. One word.
Can we use the
One word.
expression? Just
One word. This is what the question says,
one
not
word.
my question.
Just one word. Be frank. This expression.
Friendly. Friendliness.
Friendly.
Okay. How about you?
Monitor.
Monitor. Okay. That's good. Okay. I'm going to go back up there. He's everywhere. Pretty good questions out there. One of them was, I think, is it possible to teach a poor student? What do you think? Is it?
Yes.
What is a poor student? How, if you were to say that student's a poor student, what do you mean?
For understanding and getting a knowledge from it.
So they can't comprehend? What else? Yeah?
They don't have the knowledge of educational system.
They don't have a knowledge of the educational system? What else? Maybe their language skills are not so good.
Our intellectual level is weak.
Lower, weak. Okay.
They can't get information easily.
Can't get information easily.
Slow to learn.
Slow to learn. Okay, those are some good things. Now, whose fault is it? Is it the student's fault if they are a poor student? Is it the system's fault? Is it their parents' fault? Is it their teacher's fault? Yes. Some of you are like, yes, no, yes, no. My philosophy is that if, number one, I don't use the term bad student or poor student. Okay? Because that's a judgment, not necessarily an observation. Some students struggle with concepts, right? Some students take a longer time to think about something. Everybody has the capacity to learn. Even if they have a disability, they can learn. So my philosophy is it starts with the teacher. Okay? And the goal of a good teacher is to motivate. It is your job to find out ways to motivate your students. But not all students are motivated the same. I have this problem in my house. My son and I are very different. Okay? Growing up, I loved school. I loved to learn. I loved to read. I loved to learn language. I was what the teachers called a great student. I talked too much, so I was always in trouble, but I was a good student. My son hates school, does not like learning, loves video games, and loves to talk. So people would say he's a bad student or a poor student. Honestly, he's a very smart young man. However, he lacks the motivation. And his teachers only want to teach a certain way. So your job when you become teachers is to identify all the different ways to motivate students that like reading, that like talking, that like listening, that like to move their hands all the time. Does anybody like to be touching something when they're learning? Yeah. If you taught students in China, do you know what they do all day long in class?
Correct.
Yeah. They're very good at it. They can like, you know, they have to move. My son must stand up and walk around if he's going to learn. How do we know this? Because when he was given a presentation, he got up front and he walked back and forth over and over again. And he gave his presentation with his hands, with his this, you know. And he's doing it in French, not English. Perfect. The teacher said, I never knew he was smart. I said, I never knew you were dumb. Because she had never learned how to motivate him. So everybody can learn. Your job of a teacher is to learn how to motivate. Because every one of you is motivated differently, right? You learn differently. Doesn't matter if you're from the same culture. It doesn't matter if you're from the same family, right? My eldest brother is he's an accountant. So money and details are very, very important. My middle brother is an athlete. So he has to move, okay? My eldest sister is artistic, okay? So she needs to be able to draw and color and do things as she learns, okay? And me, just give me a book, okay? Give me the book, let me read about it, and then tell you about it, okay? So Your challenge is that when you get into a classroom, is you have to teach what we call in multiple motivations, right? To make sure that the interest of every student is covered. If you do that, you won't use the term bad student, okay? So, yeah.
Are there any specific techniques to cover what you just said?
Yeah, there are. Yes. Do we have an hour? Actually, I guess we can do anything we want until I get pulled off the stage. Yes, one thing, it's old research, but it continues to come back, and that is you need to study learning styles. Okay? By learning styles is how do people like to get information most? And usually we say there's 4 ways. Some people say multiple intelligence, there's 8 ways. I believe that the more ways that you can cut up the pie, the better. You understand what I mean there? So if there's only 2 ways, right? You're a receiver or a producer, that's not enough. Okay? How many people are listening if you hear what you're supposed to do? Okay? And people like, first you do this, second you do this, third, the name of this plant is, if you hear it, it's like, I can understand. How many people are like that? Okay? Then there's, if you see it written, if you write it down yourself, if you read a book, you're fine. Anybody like that? How many people are, I would like to get up and work with a group of people and touch it, taste it, feel it, and if I can learn. Anybody like that? So we say that you're a kinesthetic learner, right? So visual, oral, reading, writing, and kinesthetic are the 4 areas. If you read an article about learning styles, they'll always come back to that, right? They might give it another name, but it's the same research over and over and over again, but it's true. What do I do as a teacher? Still to this day, if I have a lesson plan, I'll look in the column and I'll identify what are they doing, right? Are they reading and writing during this time? Are they listening and speaking? Are they moving? Are they seeing images? And I'll do the whole lesson plan and then look down. And if I find that 30 minutes is reading and writing, 5 minutes is listening, and 5 minutes is movement, well, we're missing something. And only the students that like reading and writing are going to learn today. So I try to balance my lesson plan by saying, I identify, okay, if I've got 30 minutes of reading and writing, why don't I assign 20 minutes of that for homework? Why don't I spend more of my class engaging all of the learning styles? Okay? I also believe that one way that you can change the way people learn is to change the way your desks are arranged, right? If you read a book on classroom management, one of the things you're going to read about is the way that a classroom is set up, okay? Where the teacher is and where the students are, okay? So we've got our esteemed professors here, and you have me here, but how is this classroom arranged? What do you expect when you come into this classroom? What's going to happen?
Could you please repeat the question?
No, because it was a long question, and I can't remember what it was now. No. What are your expectations when you come into a classroom that looks like this? Who's in charge? Yeah? A conference, yeah? Where one person talks to you, right? Because you're all looking at the front. This is raised, right? So whoever sits here is better than you. I'm kidding. But that's the understanding, right? They must be smarter if they're going to stand here. They must have information if they're going to stand here. Okay? So that's why they call this a lecture hall, right? Or an auditorium. However, if you want the students to learn from each other, is this a good setup? No. The answer is no. I was looking for no. Why? Because they can't really face each other. Right? So the way you organize your classroom determines how people learn. And so I believe that in your classes, you have to change it constantly. In fact, you should change it at least 3 times an hour. Okay? Desks all forward, desks facing, desks in fours. Because as soon as you turn your back towards me, I'm no longer in control. Right? So if my friend here, you two were turned talking to the people behind you, now you learn from each other, not from me. Okay? And you have to be able to model that in your classes themselves. So tips how to utilize, to train different types of learners. Don't be the only one that talks. Right? If you're the only lecturer, only one type of person will understand. And I've had a hard time with my son because I can listen to a lecture and understand it, but he has to move. He's got to get up. So he's always raising his hand, can I go to the bathroom, please? He doesn't have to go to the bathroom, but he has to move, right? And so I think that children, teenagers, are the same everywhere in the world. They have high energy, right? And high energy means that they have small attention, right? So already I've talked for 10 minutes, okay? Middle school students, high school students, maximum time, 10 minutes. It's true. Research says 10 minutes is the most. Primary school, 5 minutes. And then, right? But we spend most of our time talking when they can do the talking. So I watched you when you did the activity. Some of you didn't really do the activity. Could be that you didn't understand. Could be that you didn't want to do it. Could be the room was not perfect for this type of thing. Could be many factors. Okay? But your goal as a teacher is to, what we say, mix it up. Variety. Add variety, change the classroom, motivate through different learning styles, and you'll find that you have a lot more great students, not poor students. I'm not up there because they can say stop at any time, and I don't hear them. So another question.
Yeah, you ask.
You can ask me anything. You can say, hey, I like your tie. Say what you want. I like my tie too. Yes?
You are shining, and when I look at you, I feel happiness. And I like your movements when you are talking with us. So it's very beautiful.
Could you write that down and send it to my wife?
And your lecture, your style of speaking is fascinating. I
Maybe
like it
I
so much.
speak too quickly, but thank you.
Yes,
I appreciate
like it so
that.
much.
So you guys are smiling, which is nice. There's a few of you that are not smiling. I just don't look at you.
I loved you. Really, I love you.
Well, I guess I should say I love you too, but I don't even know you. But I'd like to get to know you. That's another thing. Love your students. If you love your students, you can do anything with them. And let me tell you something from experience, from 28 years. Hard, right? But 1 year I did it. And then I thought, I need a graduate degree, because then I can teach older ones. But sometimes children are really hard to love. And by love means that you're interested in them more than you are yourself, right? You want their success more than you want your success. You're willing to stay up late to prepare a plan, even when they don't seem interested, okay? That's what I mean by, what I need and what the world needs is teachers that love to teach and that love their students and that will do anything, because we have the best job in the world, right? There's no other job in the world where you get somebody for a year or 2 years, or an institution gets them for 12 years, where you can shape the way they think, where you can model good behavior, moral behavior, where you can model being generous, kind, loving. There's no other job in the world like it, right? So you have the best job because you influence Iraq, right?
Right.
You know, you can say, ha, I've heard that before, but it's true. What happens in the classroom today is what happens in Iraq 20 years from now, right? Your dedication today as a teacher changes your country 20 years from now, okay? So why do I know that? Because some of my former students now are ambassadors, they're leaders, they're university professors, they are doctors who have cures for different diseases, and some of them were just that tall, and they were obnoxious. They were loud, they were dumb, because sometimes they are. They were problems, but today they're not. Okay, so you have to believe that every student that sits there has potential to change. Just like some of you, right? You're sitting, is this your last year or last 2 years? Last year. And then you become a teacher. Are you nervous? You should be nervous. You should be frightened. You should be fearful. You should get up and be sweating, okay? You should be a bit shaky. Because if you are, then you know the task is difficult, but you can do it, right? I still get nervous in front of people. I do. I've just learned how to deal with it. Because everything you do from now on with your students can change their life. You don't know if a student at home is having difficulty, if they cry when they go home at night. You don't know if they're hungry when they go home at night. You don't know if they've been told they're stupid, right? You don't know all that information. You just experience the behavior, right? So that's why I think, you know, I can say I love teachers, because you've chosen a very high profession. I think the highest when it comes down to it, because it's a spiritual, it's a natural and physical calling, right? So there you go. Anything else? Yes, sir.
What's your personal writing level teaching in Iraq?
Sorry?
What's your personal writing level teaching in Iraq?
I don't know if I understand the question.
Level teaching in Iraq. What's your
What's my personal opinion?
yes,
What's my opinion
writing of
of the level of education in Iraq, I haven't been here long enough to make a decision. But if I made a decision about what I see today, then it's positive. Very positive. Because this is a group of people that next year at this time will be in classrooms. And I think you desire to care about your students. So, yeah. I think that when it comes to governments and education, that's, I don't know. But what matters is the students that are going to do the job. And already the questions you ask and the things you're interested in mean that you care. So, and I hope that we can help. Any other questions? Yes?
How can we break the shyness that our students have? Some students are very clever and smart, but they don't want to talk or participate. How can we identify them first and then how to break them?
Okay. I like your question because you said, how can you break their shyness? And the big answer is you can't break who somebody is. Like, people are extroverted or introverted, right? But shy is not introvert, nor is it extrovert, right? So how many here you would say that you're extroverted? You know what that term means? You get your energy by being with people and talking to people. You can be with people and talk to people all the time, and you feel energized and like, oh, I feel so good, right? It doesn't mean that you have to talk all the time, but it means you get energy from people. How many people are like that? Okay. Then there's people like me who get their energy by being alone or quiet. Or my favorite idea is my library at home with the door shut, no dog, no son, no wife, just my books. Yes. And it's snowing outside, and it's warm inside, and I just read and I talk to myself. I get energy from that. Is anybody, that's who they are? Okay? Well, people say, no, you're extroverted because you're so talkative. No. A teacher is a performer, right? You're an actor or an actress. You know, you can come from there, and then all of a sudden you have to be, da-da, you know, I can juggle, I can cartwheels. I've learned how to be an extrovert in the classroom. But when I leave, I've used up all my words. I don't want to talk to anybody. I just want to be quiet. My wife, she could do this, and then she wants to go to lunch with everybody and talk to them. You know, oh, I love your hair covering. I love your ring. Oh, I love your face. Oh, what are you wearing? It's like, who cares? I don't care. But shyness is different. Sometimes shyness means that people lack confidence. Sometimes shyness means that they're slow to trust. So first of all, don't consider that shyness is negative. Shyness is part of your personality. Okay? And think about the friends you have. Do you have friends that are shy? But you're still friends, right? Sometimes shy people just take longer. And so your job as a teacher then is to create a safe space. Your job as a teacher, create a safe atmosphere where they feel that they can do anything without getting in trouble. I mean, of course, you understand, but they can attempt new things. They can talk and not get in trouble, like, oh, that was wrong. Like, no, wrong. Your pronunciation is bad. That's horrible. Stop. Enough from you. No, that they feel they're safe. Shy people have to feel safe. So if they remain shy in the classroom, start to think, what about my environment is not safe for them? And I'm not talking there's security for somebody with a gun outside, right? We're not talking that. We're talking the freedom to be who you are as a learner in the classroom. Sometimes, how do you deal with shy people? You have what I call a little tea party. During the class, let's just say I notice that you and you, you never talk in class, and it's like, oh, is it my teaching? What's wrong? So when the groups, students are working together, I'll come over and talk to you. Now this could be different culturally, but I'm not going to sit there. It looks like it's broken. But I'll try to get down to their level as a student. So whatever is right. I know in North America, we can kneel down like this and talk face to face, or sit at a desk, and I'll just have a conversation. Ask them, hey, what have you learned? Do you have any questions? What do you think about this? I will not say, I noticed you're not talking, because immediately their wall goes up. But I'll talk to them, just right to them, so they feel safe with me. Because the first thing in a classroom, students should feel safe with you. If they feel safe with you, they trust you. They trust that you're not going to embarrass them. Okay? And then they'll start to trust others in the class as well. Make sure you group. Sometimes if you group shy students together, they'll talk. They understand each other, right? Their group might be quiet, but they'll whisper to each other. If you group two really shy students with two really talkative students, what's going to happen? Talkative students will just override everything. Blah, 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 blah. And the other two will just be nothing. Okay? So, I love shy students because they have something to say. While they're sitting there saying nothing, they're thinking. They're thinking. And my job is to pull it out of you. Get it out of you by building trust, building confidence, building all of that. And that's the joy of teaching. You look at somebody and you say, you know what? He loves drama. He must like to perform. So how can I pull that out of him and use it so he can learn? Okay? You know, this guy right here, let's just say he loves music. He's, I used to have a roommate that was a drummer. Anybody drum here? Drummer? If you've ever met a drummer, they're always drumming, right? Or a guitar player, they're always doing something with their hands. It can bother you after a while. But you tap into it. You use music in the class. You use drama in the class. You bring it out to do it. Okay? So you pull it out. Another question. And we've 1/2 specialty, 1/2 practicum. Okay? So you actually have to then teach a class for a semester. Okay? And then reflect on it. Then, 5th year, because it's a 5-year, education is a 5-year degree. 5th year, classroom practicum. 1 full year in the classroom, but you come back to the university once or twice a week to reflect and to research. Okay? And so, as much as you can be in the classroom, it's good, right? That way you don't feel overwhelmed your first day. Does that make sense? Is that your question?
Yeah, just about accent. We require using our specific accent. That is using Commonwealth or American. We have some teachers require us in fixing our pronunciation or something like that. Whatever in the British or American accent, we require using British or American or like
in Canada?
No, here.
Here? Well, I'm not here, so. So the question could be, what's the best accent? And of course it's Canadian, Australian, British, American. You know, accent, as far as I'm concerned, doesn't matter. Intelligibility matters. Can I understand what you're trying to say? And most people are concerned about, now I'm up here. Most people are concerned about segmentals. Like some of you are probably concerned about segmentals. That's the individual sounds, right? Is it, you know, is it father, 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 father? What is it? Is it what sound is it? Who cares? Father, 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 father. It's all father. Okay. Is it father or father? Or is it voiced or voiceless? Okay. So sometimes people get so worried about the sounds. Okay. But that's not the problem. But sometimes it's the problem. But the biggest problem is the supersegmentals. Super means on top of, over. Means what happens over the sounds. Okay? English is a weird language. I love it. It is not like Spanish. Does anybody speak Spanish? Yeah? The Spanish language only has one beat per syllable. Okay, do you understand? French is the same way. You must talk like this. Every syllable in the language gets one stress. English is not like that. Okay? English has a stress point on the content words. They have one stress point on the most important word, and then stress on the other important words. Content. So words like the and and you know certain other words. You know, the book is on the table. It's like, you are a robot. No, the book is on the table. The book is on the table, right? So we believe that if we can teach you the supersegmental system of the language, the rhythm, the stress, the focus, it's actually going to help the segmentals, right? Because if you learn a word on its own, banana, okay? Banana. Nobody says it that way, but sometimes you learn one word at a time. Banana. No, I ate banana. You know what? When you put it into, it turns into banana, stress, na. You get this sound, which is the schwa sound. We just throw it together. We only stress what's important. So sometimes you say, what did you say? I said, nana. What? Banana. Oh, banana. No, that's not what you ever say. Like, it's like, you know, somebody you meet the first time they've had 1 year of English. Hello. My name is Fatima. What is your name? It's like, my name's Dave. Huh? My name's Dave. Well, I already know you asked the question, what is your name? So I'm not going to say, my name is Dave. That information already exists. The only important piece of information is Dave. My name's Dave. My name is Dave. No, my name's Dave. Where are you from? I am from Canada. from Canada, Canada. Right? So that's real speech. So it's not a segmental problem. It's a cultural and super segmental problem. So the goal for you, and what we'll do in teacher training as well, is we'll teach you how to use this system of super segmentals, right? So we often do this. Can you go? Can everybody do that together? Everybody do this. Keep doing it. You're going faster. Slow down. Okay. Good. Keep doing it. I'll do it too.
Dance.
Mice eat cheese. Mice eat cheese. Do it with me. Mice eat cheese. Keep doing it. Mice eat cheese. Keep doing it. Mice eat cheese. The mice eat cheese. The mice eat cheese. The mice will eat the cheese. The mice will eat the cheese. Notice you, so you can stop now. We'll do more of this, but the fact is, if we put the in it, we don't add another beat. It's still mice eat cheese. 3 content words. They get stress. The mice eat cheese. The mice will eat the cheese. The mice will have eaten the cheese. Right? But the problem you have is, often new English speakers want to get everything in perfectly. So it turns out the mice will have eaten the cheese. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 beats instead of 3 beats. Right? And so people are more concerned about accuracy than fluency. And when your focus is so much on accuracy, then you become unintelligible. Because sometimes students will come and talk to me and they'll be stressing every word. What did you do last night? Is the important part last night? Is the important part what I did? Is the important part what I was doing? Do I answer in the progressive? I was blah, blah, blah. How do I? Because the question you ask determines what I focus on. So if you say, what were you doing last night? It's like, versus what were you doing last night? What were you doing last night? How I answer, well, last night I was blah, 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 blah. What was I doing? Well, I was playing a video game. Which game? I was playing Fortnite. I don't play Fortnite, by the way. Does anybody play Fortnite? Yeah. Are you ninja? Huh? My son plays Fortnite. I don't understand that. Did you have a question? But super segmental. So accent, less about accent, more about rhythm, timing, and stress. Are they supposed to leave? What are you supposed to be doing right now? Okay, you can ask a question.
I wanted to say that fluency is all right, even though there's some problems with the person.
Yeah, so we try to build fluency activities where students don't have to worry about what they're saying. Okay? And so we have a number of activities that are fluency based. I'll do something with students sometimes called Hot Corner, where I get them to stand up and I'll say, you know, talk about winter. And all I want them to do is just, and usually it's, I like winter. Winter is fun. Winter's like, no, just talk about winter. I don't care if your grammar's fine. I just want you to get information out, okay? And I'll just do it bang, bang, because people need a chance to just talk, right? You can have accuracy activities, absolutely. But right now, if I were to sit down with all of you, we would do lots of fluency activities. I just want to get everything inside of you out. and see what you can accomplish, right? Because how many of you actually speak English to each other outside of class? Some? Some? Not enough. You should try. It's like, hey, today is English day. We're only going to use English. We're not going to switch to Arabic. And just try to see how far you can go. That's why we have English corners and things like that. So I do believe that you need to be accurate, but I think a lot of English classes over the past 20, 30 years have been only focused on accuracy. And students leave and they can't speak English. So 8 years of French for me, and I left, and I could read, I could write, and I could say a correct sentence perfectly. But I could not go to Quebec or France and speak because I was too worried about what came out of my mouth. Okay? And that we want to help our students. Okay? Really, aren't they supposed to be at lunch or something? We should close this. Okay? And I don't know what I'm doing next, but if I'm doing nothing, I can talk to you.
Okay, that's all right. Dave, thank you so much. Before I'm starting, saying thank you so much for a fantastic lecture that you delivered. They all put their hands up for you. That means they like it. They like your lecture, which is really fantastic. It's our great pleasure to have you here in our faculty, and especially in the Department of English Language. The information that you provided, is really fantastic information for the future teachers. Going all the way, how to motivate the students in the future, the shyness and confidence that Zaina spoke about. All of these things that we need to focus on. Not just like linguistics and dealing with the linguistics and how fluent you are and how accurate you are. The most important thing to get out of you the things that you are planning to say. So as I told you in our lectures all the time, that I need you to come here and to practice. I need you to say something. I need to see you are talking. So they echoed what I've said to you before. So let's try and do whatever we can do. This is not the last lecture from Dave. I can see that from his eyes. We are planning to get Dave in January as well. So he will be coming to our university, and I think he will be delivering more lectures. The plan, we will be having a pilot project in the future. In this pilot project, we will be having some of you students from yourself, from other faculties, to work with David and his team members. They will be joining us in January as well. So they will be coming here to teach you face to face, and they will be leaving to US or to Canada, and they will be teaching you remotely from there, online. So the opportunity is there. The most important thing that you have to use this opportunity. Again, thank you so much for Professor Dave, and I wanted to say David, because if I say David, that means I'm angry. Yeah. So thank you, Dave, and I think Professor Waham would like to say something.
Thank you. And thanks a lot, Dave, for this very nice, interesting lecture, actually. And on behalf of my colleagues in the Department of English and my students, we do like to thank you again. And actually, Dave had mentioned many important things, especially in the learning teaching process, and he had mentioned the psychological and linguistic principles, many factors, the roles of good teachers, the role of the good learner, how you will be in the future, good teacher, and how you are looking forward to make your students good listeners also and good students. Therefore, I guess that there are many important factors actually. Thank you. Thanks a lot. And we hope that it will not be the last time to see you here with us or among us. Okay? Thank you.
So I need you to put your hand together again.
1 second.
David. can and go ahead now.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We will be in touch. Again, don't forget, you have a whole chapter next week. Yeah,
That's the real.
yes.
Also exercise.
Which is really, really tough, but we will work with it.
هذا بعد